Imagine waking up tomorrow morning and there is an ancient Pleistocene human sitting on the edge of your bed. They don't attack you. They don't panic. They just quietly watch you open a glowing rectangle, look at a picture of a stranger's face, and swipe your thumb to the left. Within 3 seconds, you've rejected a potential life partner based on a single pixelated image. The ancient human has been awake for 10 seconds, and they are already deeply concerned. Because from their point of view, you didn't just reject a stranger, you just threw away a human relationship without ever hearing the sound of their voice, smelling their skin, or seeing how they carry wood back to the fire. And somehow, to you, this is completely normal. So maybe ancient humans weren't the primitives when it came to romance. Maybe we are the weird ones now. Of course, we cannot actually know exactly what a Paleolithic hunter-gatherer would say about your dating life. There are no Ice Age relationship podcasts. Modern hunter-gatherer communities are not living fossils frozen in time. They are modern people with their own long histories. But we can ask a much more fascinating, verifiable question. How did an animal evolved for tiny, lifelong social tribes navigate the terrifying, profound concept of falling in love? Because if you strip away the dating apps, the marriage contracts, the diamonds, and the modern legal systems, what does romance actually look like to a human built for the wilderness? First, we have to fire Hollywood. For over a century, pop culture has told the same tired joke. A brutish caveman spots a woman, hits her over the head with a wooden club, and drags her back to a cave. It's a Victorian myth designed to make modern civilized people feel superior. But archaeology tells an entirely different story. Prehistoric life wasn't a lawless free-for-all. It was an incredibly complex, high-stakes web of social rules. If an ancient human tried to violently kidnap a partner within their own band, they wouldn't win a mate. They would face immediate exile or execution by the rest of the tribe. In a world where survival depended entirely on cooperation, reputation was your only currency. To find love, you didn't use force. You used social status, resource-sharing skills, and creative expression. We have found ancient jewelry, body pigments, and musical instruments dating back over 40,000 years. Our ancestors didn't just hunt. They adorned themselves. They sang, they danced, and they gossiped. Romance wasn't a brutal act of capture. It was a delicate dance of community negotiation. But deep within that delicate ancient dance, evolution built a specific psychological time bomb into the human brain. A chemical trick designed to keep our ancestors alive in the wilderness that is currently wreaking absolute havoc on modern marriages. We'll get to that chemical trap in just a moment. Now, your ancient guest follows you further into the modern world. They watch you attend a wedding, or maybe they look over your shoulder while you scroll through hundreds of profiles on a dating app. And this is where they start to feel dizzy. For 99% of human history, your entire world consisted of a shifting band of roughly 30 to 150 people. That was it. Your entire dating pool wasn't an endless digital gallery of thousands of faces. It was maybe a dozen eligible individuals whom you had known intimately since childhood. You knew their parents, you knew their flaws, you knew exactly how many deer they had successfully tracked, and you knew how they treated people when they were hungry. In the ancient world, attraction wasn't a detached, superficial checklist. It was a visible reality. You fell in love with someone's actual utility and character in real time. But today, we demand our romantic partners be everything at once. A passionate lover, a financial co-pilot, a best friend, a therapist, and a co-parent. To an ancient human, expecting one single person to fulfill every single psychological need wouldn't just look romantic. It would look like madness. For them, the entire tribe carried the weight of psychological support. Love was the glue that bound a family unit together, but the community was the safety net that kept them from falling apart. The ancient human whispers, "Why did you trade 3 months of your labor for a shiny pebble that you can't eat, can't hunt with, and can't use to start a fire?" You try to explain the concept of De Beers marketing campaigns, diamond scarcity, and modern status engagement rituals. They look at you, then at the rock, then back at you. This is the exact moment they begin walking back toward the woods. But if you think ancient romance was purely cold, calculated survival utility, the archaeology proves otherwise. Our ancestors left behind undeniable evidence of deep, profound emotional attachment. Look at the archaeological site of Shanidar Cave. Researchers found the remains of a Neanderthal who had suffered severe injuries early in life. A crushing blow to the eye, an amputated arm, and severe fractures. Yet, he lived into his 40s. He couldn't hunt, he couldn't run, but his community carried him, fed him, and protected him for decades. That isn't cold biological efficiency. That is care. And the genetic data reveals an even wilder twist. When modern scientists sequenced the Neanderthal and Denisovan genomes, they discovered something incredible. Almost all living non-African humans carry between 1 to 2% Neanderthal DNA. Think about what that actually means. Tens of thousands of years ago, two entirely different species of humans met at the edge of the Pleistocene forests. Separated guided by hundreds of thousands of years of independent evolution, possessing different facial structures, different vocal ranges, and different cultures. And they didn't just fight, they looked at each other, recognized a shared humanity, communicated, mated, and raised children together. Love in the ancient world regularly crossed the boundaries of species itself, which brings us back to that chemical time bomb we mentioned earlier. Why does modern long-term love feel so incredibly difficult? Evolutionary psychologists point to a striking biological reality. Human infants are born completely helpless. Unlike a newborn horse that can stand up within minutes, a human baby takes years of constant care just to survive. To ensure that baby didn't die out in the wild, evolution engineered a massive chemical cocktail of dopamine, oxytocin, and norepinephrine. It floods the human brain when we fall in love. It creates that intense, obsessive, blinding romantic infatuation. But studies show this exact neurochemical flood has an expiration date. It lasts roughly 2 to 4 years. In the Pleistocene, 2 to 4 years was exactly long enough for a mother to give birth, to nurse an infant past its most fragile stage of lactation, and transition it into the collective care of the wider tribe. Once that chemical blindness fades, ancient humans didn't necessarily break up. They transitioned into deep companionate attachment, supported by their entire community. But in our modern world, we live in isolated nuclear boxes. When that intense chemical infatuation naturally fades after a few years, we panic. We look at our partner and think, the magic is gone. I must be with the wrong person. But the magic isn't gone. Your brain is just functioning exactly like it was designed to under the open skies of the Ice Age. If an ancient human followed you through your entire romantic life, from your first awkward school crush through your painful breakups, your late-night phone calls, your dating app fatigue, and your quiet moments of long-term commitment, they wouldn't see a different species. They would see themselves. We built a world where we can communicate with thousands of people instantly, yet we feel lonelier than ever. We built a dating market based on infinite choice, yet we feel paralyzed by option paralysis. We solved the ancient problems of freezing winters, predators, and physical isolation. But we accidentally turned human connection into a high-stress administrative system. We are the exact same strange, affectionate animal, trying to fit our ancestral hearts into modern cages. Comfort made our dating lives safe, but it also made them profoundly complicated. So the next time you find yourself staring at your phone, wondering why finding love feels so exhausting, take a deep breath. Your ancestors didn't have it figured out perfectly, but they didn't have to navigate an algorithm to find a hand to hold. And if that ancient guest on your bed looks at you after a long silence, they probably wouldn't tell you to delete your apps. They just ask if they can keep that coconut-scented hair soap, because humans are humans, and no matter the century, everyone likes to smell nice for the tribe.